Wake up in the morning, I'm feeling so blessed. Thankful for the Lord, I ain't even gon' stress. Even though I know that this world is a test, I'm still a leader of love. And even if it feels like it's all on your shoulders, devil on your back trying to keep your heart colder, tell them back up, let them know that you a soldier, right? And a leader of love. So whatever it may be, just make it all matter. Keep your spirits up, ain't no need to be a downer. In everything you do, everyone you encounter, lead with love. So whatever it may be, just make it all matter. Keep your spirits up, ain't no need to be a downer. In everything you do and everyone you encounter, lead with love, leader of love.
Grand Rising, good morning. It is your leader of love. For those of you that have been watching every day this week, I'm sure that you know by now that I have been focusing on suicide prevention awareness. That is the month. That is actually that's what this month is, Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. And so I made a decision to want to focus in to talk about suicide prevention, just kind of make it a conversation, to be aware that it is an issue, especially in the Black community. And so, as always, I wanted to first share with you that if you know of anyone who is wrestling with suicidal thoughts, anyone who is wrestling with some things, maybe you are and you don't want to really tell anyone, but maybe you're watching this video and you're wondering, who can I talk to? Who can I turn to? There is a suicide prevention hotline that you can contact, and it is 800-273-8255. Again, that is 800-273-8255. If you want to do online chat, because maybe you're not that comfortable with talking to someone and you just want to chat versus having to verbally talk, that option is available as well. It is suicidepreventionlifeline.org. Again, it's suicidepreventionlifeline.org. Everything that I discussed today, you can find some of those things on suicidepreventionresourcecenter.org, and you can also find things on suicidepreventionlifeline.org. So again, as I said before, it was when I went to the Lifeline site, the resource site, there were 5 things that they touched on, and so I kind of wanted to take each day of this week to touch on those things. And so today I wanted to touch on be there. Be there. Individuals are more likely to feel less depressed, less suicidal, less overwhelmed, and more hopeful after speaking to someone who listens without judgment. After listening to someone who listens without judgment. That is something that we definitely wrestle with. Because a lot of times, we sometimes don't even think we're judgmental, but we really are. And so people shy away, especially our people, my people, shy away from discussing things such as suicidal thoughts, especially if they're young Black men. In the Black community, shy away from discussing it for fear of judgment. Sometimes it comes in the form of jokes and kind of making light of the situation. And what happens is they shy away from discussing it because maybe they've heard someone else joke and laugh about someone else wrestling with things or not being able to handle things. I can recall I had a friend who one day we were having a conversation about the youth, young people. And I remember her saying, when I was younger, if we were being bullied or talked about, we just took it. We didn't go and try to kill ourselves. We handled it. And I remember thinking in my head, I'm so thankful that you weren't someone that when I was young, I would have been someone I would have gone to. Because that statement alone has a lot to do with why people do not talk about what they wrestle with when it comes to suicidal thoughts, when it comes to depression, anxiety. They do not talk about it because of things like that. And the funny part about it is, the person that said it is younger than me. Not by much, still in my same age group. But I remember thinking to myself, well, when I was young, I wrestled with suicidal thoughts. So who are you to say that it's a one size fits all for our age group, that when we were young we didn't? Because it's not true. It's not true. But things like that keep people from talking about what they're wrestling with. They find themselves not going to the people that they've heard make judgmental statements or comments about people being weak and things of that nature. So when they find themselves wrestling with things and dealing with things, they won't go to you. Stop and look at yourself. Are you the person who is quick to talk about people being weak and being weak-minded and can't take nothing and can't have? Are you that person who's always putting down on someone else not being able to handle things? If you're that person, then you're the judgmental one. And I know you're saying, I'm not being judgmental. It's the truth. It's the truth to you. But to them, they won't come to you because of that. We got to have an ear to not just hear, but to listen for those, I'm not okay. Last night, and I'm going to say this quickly, and then I'm going to be done. Last night before I went to sleep, I saw that a Christian pastor whose focal point was dealing with depression, suicide, anxiety. That was what he focused on within his ministry. Committed suicide. And it touched me in a different way, because I knew in that moment somebody was reading that article and somebody was saying, God, if the man of God who acknowledged he was wrestling with it, who was your servant, who was living for you, if he gave into suicide, God, what hope do I have? Somebody within themselves was wrestling, saying, God, I can't do this. I mean, God, he was probably somebody that was praying to you on a regular and talking to you, and he gave into it, Lord. How am I going to do it? It touched me so much. I think it was after 10. Immediately, God just began to lay those things on my heart, and I got up and I began to just walk through my house and pray, and began to just intercede for minds that would be in that moment last night wrestling with some things. People who may be thinking, when I wake up tomorrow, I'm going to end it all. Somebody doesn't have anybody to go to. Be that person that they can go to, because right now they don't have anybody, because everybody around them is judgmental and critical. Be that person that they can reach out to. This is your Leader of Love. Visit me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Leader of Love, LUHV. Remember, in everything that you do and everyone that you encounter, lead with love. It matters. Have a wonderful Wednesday.